Good evening. Welcome again to Varsity Sports Live, semifinal edition on this November evening. And Jandy, how you doing?
It's exhilarating, Tom. There's a lot to digest in the next hour, so sit back, get your snacks ready, and we'll try our best to explain what just happened tonight. I still can't comprehend what just happened.
Well, because the first game we're going to show you is, well, you picked games, you picked 14 semifinals, and you missed one of them. And it looked like it was the most obvious one.
Yeah. Some people said that.
To some people.
But I'll tell you what, there was a case to be made for Harrisburg, and they made that case very strong, as we'll see very soon.
All right, we will get to the North Dakota stuff with Jody Norstedt coming up in a little bit. First, going to run you through all 7 classes of the semifinals tonight in South Dakota, starting with 11 AAA and the upset. Upset?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's an upset.
Upset of the night. Let's get to it. Harrisburg and Sioux Falls Roosevelt. Roosevelt rolling in at 8-0. The top seed had beaten Harrisburg 46-21 during the regular season, but Jacob Knuth to cap off a 95-yard drive for Harrisburg to open it up, made it 7-0.
That's after they made a big turnover to start this thing, to take it all the way back down the field. That was a momentum switcher.
Taylor Ashley comes back for Roosevelt, ties it up, or doesn't tie it up, makes it 7-6 at that point. And then Knuth to Ethan Rollinger. Nice grab.
How many quarterbacks can make that throw, first of all? That is an excellent throw right over Tyree Nave, a tall, lanky defensive back. 14-6 Harrisburg at halftime. And then the third, another nice throw from Knuth to Rollinger to make it 21-6. Tigers with the lead, but Roosevelt starts coming back. He's doing that against the best defensive backfield in the state.
Ashley, a lot of time. Michael Paulson did get over the goal line right there, touchdown, to make it 21-13. And then still, well, go ahead to the fourth quarter here. Ashley with a touchdown, makes it 21-19. They did go for 2, did not get it. Roosevelt gets the ball back. This is a field goal to win it. It's only from 32 yards, but the wind is howling. It is short left. And Harrisburg wins it 21-19.
Can't be understated enough. It was windy and it was swirling. Bennett Yellowbird is a good kicker. That was a tremendously tough kick, and Roosevelt did everything they could to get in position to win this game at the end, and Harrisburg did everything they could to keep him out of the end zone. What a fantastic finish.
A little bit of post-game reaction from this one.
Coaches put together a great game plan at the beginning of the week. Our goal is to come out here and execute. They got us in the regular season. They're a heck of a team. Can't say enough about them. Our defense came out tonight and played lights out, forced 2 turnovers, one at the beginning of the game there. Huge momentum shifter. Just a great team win overall.
Tell me about that.
We knew they jump out to big leads, so we had to be even or ahead at the end of that first quarter. That was huge. And then we knew we could kind of mix and match some of our stuff. That's a really, really, really good football team. But we just made one more play. And that's all we wanted our kids to do, is just play the next play and win that play.
Get excited, Jacob Knuth. He's such a pro. He's just giving us you just knocked off Roosevelt. You can be excited on TV next time, okay? Just giving you permission.
Tigers, that's a road win for them at Roosevelt. Tigers go to the championship for the first time as 11 AAA team. So it's Harrisburg and whom in the championship coming up next week. Brandon Valley hosting Lincoln tonight. Brandon Valley coming in 7-1. Their only loss in that season opener to Roosevelt. And Tate Johnson had another night.
Polar opposites. Brandon Valley comes in run first, run hard. Lincoln comes in pass first, pass hard. And both were kind of working early on.
It's already 35-14 right here. And Jackson Hilton with an interception for that Brandon Valley defense. And it's 35-14 at halftime. Brandon Valley in the lead, and then Joe Colbeck to Peyton Carroll to make it 41-14, and the Lynx just rolling, Jason.
Yeah, this Lynx team answered the call 2 or 3 different times when Lincoln looked like they were going to try to budge their way back into the game. But Joe Colbeck emerging as one of the best quarterbacks in the class.
Lincoln having a great year, 6-3 coming into this game. Isaiah Robinson with a big return here for the Patriots, and then Tommy Thompson. Look at this catch coming up here by Logan Needles.
Oh my.
Yeah.
They've really loved having him back in the last half of the season. He's made an impact.
Tate Johnson, those 69 yards here. This is his 5th touchdown run of the night. Waiting for a block right there. And Brandon Valley's up 48-21. And then one more for good measure, Colbeck to Austin Vigance, who does most of it by not going down at the 20-yard line.
I got to tell you, Austin Vigance had a great day blocking, too. There's a lot of guys that had a great day blocking for Brandon today.
So Tate Johnson had that 69-yard touchdown run. He had a 50-yard touchdown run. 5 touchdowns on the night for Johnson. Brandon Valley rolls in at 8-1 to take on Harrisburg in the championship.
Great season for Lincoln, but I'm telling you what, Brandon Valley's on a mission right now. Let's hear from them after the game.
It's been 3 years in a row now since my sophomore year. We're going to try to complete this season with obviously a victory, so really excited about it. Offensively, we just got two-headed monster with me and Joe. They have to stop both of us before they can stop one of us. We got great receivers, great hands that are downfield blocking, and our line's just opening up holes every game. Last week in my high school football career, just going to enjoy it, and we're going to go out with a bang.
You know, it's 3 out of the past 4 years, and so I mean, you know, it's 10 years in a row that we've been in the semifinals, and our kids just keep finding a way to get it done. And we knew at the beginning of the year that we'd have some lines to in our front line to fill, and just unbelievable job by our line, and then Tate Johnson tonight. What an unbelievable night he had.
Brandon Valley lost to O'Gorman last year. They lost in the championship to Washington 4 years ago, and now they're back in.
Won it a couple years ago, and now we've got 2 non-Sioux Falls teams in the finals. I was going to look up that number. It's been over a decade, hasn't it, Tom?
It has. Since we've gone to 11 AAA, yes, it's always been Sioux Falls teams in there. But, yeah, Brandon Valley won it in 2018, and the Lynx back in to take on Harrisburg. Coming up, that'll be next Saturday at the Dome in Vermillion. All right, let's go to 11 AA. The game we have live here on Midco Sports Network tonight. Huron and Brookings. We kept wondering all year, Jandy, if Brookings was for real. And they definitely are. Josh Burrai has been incredible.
Yeah, they've proven it over and over again. The ground game was awesome. But their takeaways, they were plus 18 coming into the night on takeaways. 2 big interceptions in the first quarter. And look at this. The offensive line doesn't even let anybody touch Burrai. And he hurdles and does the rest.
And he gets that running start, and he is hard to bring down. Derek Simmonsma, big interception here for Huron. It's only 14-0 at this point. Yeah. But the Tigers, right before the half, McNeil trying to throw this thing away, and it gets caught in the wind and picked off. So it's 14-0 at halftime. And then Brookings just pours it on from there. Burrai, a couple more scores. Big cut. You just can't bring him down. And he makes it 21-0.
How does he do that? How does he do that? And then, the game's not over at this point. Brookings takes advantage and gets a huge special teams play, and they own the field position game from then on. Jackson Bowes threw the ball efficiently. He ran the ball when he had to. Brookings put it in cruise control after that.
They can run it and throw it. Simmonsma from Cade McNeil here for Tigers' only touchdown of the night, but it was still 28-6 at that point. And Burrai just pouring it on, and he's going to be a challenge for the Pierre Governors in the championship. Brookings is 11-0, Jandy. Their last football championship was back in the year 2000.
Okay, that sounds about right. They were in the championship game just last year. They were in the championship game back in 2014. And this year they feel like they have one of their best chances to pull it off since 2000, Tom. And after the game, we heard from the Bobcats.
I really don't like being called the second half team. It's just we need to start out our first half the same way we start out the second half, and obviously we are a second half team. I hate to admit it, but we just started off how we normally do.
We knew what they were planning on doing as far as their game plan and how to attack us, and I thought we prepared really well during the week. The kids did, and turned out the way it turned out for us. So.
All right, Brookings, 11-0, going to the championship. Pierre and Yankton in the other semifinal. And Lincoln Keenholz, great young quarterback for the Governors, goes 50 yards there, puts Pierre on top 7-0. Yankton beat Pierre 52-29 the first time around this year, but a lot different here. Trevor Fitzgerald with a touchdown for the Bucks, 7-6 score at halftime. And then Keenholz to McGuire Rasky, who's been great for a couple of years for the Govs. He goes 79 yards with that. Pierre's up 14-6 at the end of 3 quarters. Yankton not done yet, though. Go to the 4th quarter, about 8 minutes left for the Bucks, and Trevor Fitzgerald over the top to make it 14-12. They go for 2, obviously did not get it, so it stays 14-12. And then Pierre with the capper right here, keenholes to Reagan Bolweg, who takes it in to make it 21-12.
There were a couple plays on that drive that Yankton made some mistakes that helped Pierre extend that drive. So between Pierre getting that big stop on the 2-point conversion and then taking it down the field the next time, that's where they won this game.
Govs turn it around from that regular season loss to the Bucks. Yankton, great year to finish 9-2, but they go out in the semis. Pierre goes back to the final, 6th final in the last 8 years for the Governors, and they are the 3-time defending champions, and they will go up against Brookings in the 11AA championship. Hello.
You know, I thought Lincoln Keenholz had a really solid game back there. You know, I mean, again, the first time we came here, he had some mistakes, and, you know, so did everyone else. But, you know, I thought he had a really stout game, especially running the ball. And, you know, McGuire-Askey, you know, we had that play in our back pockets that we were able to get to him today, and he made it count for a touchdown, you know, and that was ultimately it. You know, we knew we wanted to kind of have some longer sustained drives to hopefully keep their offense out of a rhythm and then just hopefully capitalize on some big plays.
I apologize for stepping on Stevie Steele, of all people. All right, Madison and T in 11A. T is 9-0 coming into this game. They beat Madison by 20 during the regular season. Caden Johnson, big night for the Titans. Makes it 10-0 there. T with the lead. And then Johnson again. And they were racking up huge rushing numbers tonight.
That was a 37-yard run. He would score from 5 yards later to go up 17-0. You thought it could get out of hand, but Madison can throw the ball a little bit. They got back into this thing. Nate Ricky connects with Dylan Bickett. Diving catch, a 54-yard gain. And then Ricky hits Carter Bergheim. 16-yard touchdown, 17-7. All of a sudden, we got a game again.
They would do it again to get even closer, Jandy. Ricky rolling this time to Logan Albee to make it 17-14. But that would be the end of the scoring for Madison in this one. Still in the first half. 1 second left, and Caden Johnson rips off another one here. He had 25 carries, 159 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Titans. Johnson going in here 24-14 at halftime. Titans in the lead. Connor Mulder had a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. Garrett Colback, another rushing touchdown for T. They had a 19-play drive that took up the entire 3rd quarter in this game. The whole
19
quarter.
plays, 80 yards, entire 3rd quarter, and that's what you get when you have an offensive line like T does.
They had a 14-play drive in the 4th quarter to cap it off with that Colback touchdown. And 37-14, Titans rolling into the championship game at 10-0. They ran 39 more plays than Madison in this game. And the rushing yards, the totals, T had 358 yards, Madison had 2.
Whew. I had no idea, but that's got to feel a lot better for T than their last game 2 weeks ago against Del Rapids. They went to overtime, and then last year losing on their home field in the semis to get a win this season.
All right, Titans going into the championship in 11A. The other semifinal tonight, West Central and Canton. They played a close game in the last regular season game, and Canton won that one 12-7. It was just as close in this one. Luke Richardson touchdown.
He didn't play last week. Luke Richardson, Zach Richardson, both back, and they both made an impact.
7-0. West Central was driving late in the first half, but got picked off. It was 7-0 at halftime. Justin Zerpel had a touchdown for the Trojans to make it 7-6. Xander Elling with the go-ahead touchdown to make it 14-6. And then West Central was driving to try and tie it up, and they called, I believe, a fumble right at the 1-yard line. So Canton celebrates. Trojans last gasp.
I think it's 16 seconds left and 8 seconds left in the last play, and they made it happen. Canton's defense does it again, Tom.
Canton lost its first 2 games of the year. They've now won 8 in a row. They've won a ton of close games this year. They've had 3 wins, less than 5 points. They beat West Central 14-6 tonight, so Canton going back to defend its championship in 11A.
A rematch of week 1 when they played T, and that was a great battle the first time. I think it's going to be great this time around too, Tom.
11B, Jandy, Sioux Valley and Winter. Sioux Valley, their only loss this year to Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan, who is playing in the other semi tonight. Winter coming in at 9-0. And Brady Fritz on this opening, or this drive at least here for the Warriors, taking it around the right side. So Winter out to the lead at home. Sioux Valley coming back here. Parker Pitts winging it. And that is completed inside the 30-yard line. And then Damian Dancian, I'm sure I'm not saying that right, but he's got a touchdown to make it 14-6. Sioux Valley hanging right in there at halftime. Third quarter here, Jandy. Fritz rolling. Evan Farner is wide open over here. Gets it down inside the 5-yard line, and then Brady Fritz will finish that off with a touchdown run. Made it 20-6. Sioux Valley, though, hanging right in there again. Catch here by Raven Olson going to the far sideline. And then another Sioux Valley touchdown pass coming here as they turn it around the fourth quarter to make it 20-12. They get the 2-point conversion. So Sioux Valley, the Cossacks, down just 20-14 after that 2-point conversion right there. But the Warriors turn it around and run it out. Fritz and Caden Kaiser. Fritz to the sideline here, just gets knocked out at about the 25, and then Caden Kaiser with a touchdown run after that. And Winter is going back to the championship game. The Warriors 10-0 in the regular season with the win tonight. It'll be their 6th championship game in the last 12 years coming up in the 11B championship.
A lot of fight from Sioux Valley tonight. They put up 14 points against this Winter defense. That's hard to do. And Winter going back to the ship.
And they will take on the winner of this one, Mobridge-Pollock and Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan. Mobridge-Pollock 9-0 into the semifinals. Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan, the defending champions. And the Mobridge-Pollock passing game was shut down tonight by this Hawks defense. Riley Schultz with an interception there for Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan. And then the ground game got going, Jandy, with Kobe Kaiser and Bodie Burnham taking turns scoring.
Well, that's been the formula for success this year. Winning at the line of scrimmage. They've got 2 backs that can really get it done. And Kobe Kaiser, you saw it. He got the first one, didn't get that one. That was Burnham, and then comes up with an 85-yarder with some great blocking from the quarterback.
Kaiser rolling in. He would score again before halftime to make it 27-0. And Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan, impressive. They are the big kids on the block in 11B as they win it tonight. Kaiser had 5 touchdowns on the evening for Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan as they get to 11-0, 46-0. And they will be in the championship game for the 4th year in a row.
And last year we had one of the best championship games of the entire slate was Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan and Winter, and we are treated to that once again this year, Tom.
Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan won it 21-14 last
Congrats
year.
to Mobridge-Pollock, by the way.
Yeah, great season. Although they were shut down by that Bridgewater defense tonight, just 54 yards of total offense as they finished 9-1. 9-man highlights tonight. 9AA, Viborg-Hurley hosting Platte-Geddes. Viborg-Hurley, the defending champions. Of course, Chase Mason out since the first game of the year, but Angel Johnson with a touchdown run to put them ahead 8-0.
Yeah, why don't they do this every single play, Tom? He can outrun anybody in the state.
Platte-Geddes, though, not going away. Screen pass here.
Jackson Newman hauls that one down. And, Kelby Vanderwerf's not going to get a lot of passing yards on long plays, but they will break ones. And Jackson Newman is one of those guys who can break big plays.
All right, 8-6. Viborg-Hurley still in the lead. Carter Gust, great grab on the touchdown there for Viborg-Hurley, and they lead it 16-6. But still in the first half here, Platte-Geddes scores back-to-back touchdowns. That is Newman again to make it 16-12. And then 4th down here for Platte-Geddes. And they will score again just before halftime.
I didn't keep count, but 4th down conversions were the key to victory tonight for Platte-Geddes.
Parker Bailey backing up, making that touchdown pass. So Platte-Geddes goes in the lead at the half, 20-16. Angel Johnson scores, though, and Viborg-Hurley back on top at Platte-Geddes with a late touchdown.
Vanderwerf hanging in there, and how about that? Viborg-Hurley's long winning streak goes down to the Platte-Geddes Black Panthers. Newman with a big night. Caden Foxley had that big catch at the end of the game. Unbelievable effort by the Black Panthers, who come and really storm 9AA this year.
Their last championship appearance, from what I can glean, was back in 1992 when they were Platte playing in 11D. Double check me on that. But
Bruce Hansen has got this team playing well.
I'm pretty sure that is right, as the Black Panthers going to the championship in 9AA. The other semi there was Lemmon-McIntosh and Hamlin, both teams 10-0 coming into this game. Jackson Noam.
He had 2 consecutive 300-yard rushing games in the playoffs so far. Tonight, he was doing this job again.
Yeah, they had the ground game rolling. Cameron Thuy.
Look at that guy rumble.
Great Hamlin name. As he goes in to make it 14-0. Chargers rolling it home. Noam will score again.
He gets make sure he tells the coach, Jeff Sheyenne, this is how I do it. I can score too. But you're right, Jackson Noam, the star of the game. He did his job, and another long touchdown. And then they played defense all night long, as they always do, to shut down Lemmon-McIntosh's passing game. Nobody's done that this year until Hamlin did tonight.
Noam with a couple. Lemmon-McIntosh finishes 10-1 as Hamlin rolls into the 9AA championship at 11-0 to take on Platte-Geddes. 9A tonight, Jandy. Canistota-Freeman, defending champions, taking on Howard. Howard beat them in triple overtime during the regular season.
There's Riley Genslinger off to the side. This is second half. We're going to pick it up in the second half. Howard's got a lead. They couldn't get anything done, but this guy, Tice Ortman, did get things done. Look at this. So rare to see an opening, and Ortman scores the touchdown to take the lead for Canistota. Tyson Spader back to drop, and they need a big play as time winds down. Canistota with the 1-score lead, and their sophomore, Mr. Kleinsasser there, picks it off and secures victory for Canistota-Freeman. Now, the second time in this series this year, the road team has come out and pulled out a 1-score win.
They avenged that earlier loss to Howard as the Tigers finished 9-1. Again, all of the other games for Howard this year, their margin of victory was 47 points. Only the one loss here in the semis on the season for Howard. But Canistota-Freeman going back to the Dome to defend their championship. They have won the last 2 titles in 9A. And it'll be Canistota-Freeman taking on the winner of this one, Warner and Wall. Nice.
Tim Riley, our best cameraman out there.
Both at 9-0 coming into this game. Both were knocked out in the quarterfinals last year, but get to the semis here. Warner strikes first. Hunter Kramer to Jackson McNeil. McNeil had a big night for the Monarchs. Puts him in the lead, 7-0.
Both these quarterbacks are freshman quarterbacks, by the way, Tom. Hunter Kramer and Blair Blasius.
Here's Kramer again, chucking it out there to Landon Leitold. And that would lead to another Jackson McNeil touchdown run. McNeil goes 6'2", 231 pounds, according to the roster. Pounds it in there. And Warner in the lead, 13-0 at halftime on the road. This is the 2-point conversion. They don't get it here. Out of bounds just on the sideline there, but another catch and run by Jackson McNeil again, who leads Warner to a road victory tonight. It was 13-0 at halftime. Leitold had a touchdown reception in the second half. And Warner stays unbeaten, 10-0, 26-0 tonight over Wall. And Warner back to the championship. They've been in a couple times in the last couple of years, lost in 2016 and in 2012. But Warner going back to the 9A championship.
And Wall will be back. Very young team. They're on the up and come, but this is the year for Warner to do it. You know, they've got some really good seniors. Hunter Kramer just a freshman, but his brother is a senior, and Jackson McNeil a senior. They're going to get a rule test to Canistota-Freeman.
All right, the final class tonight, 9B semis. Dell Rapids St. Mary's at KADOKA. KADOKA 9-1 coming into this game. They're only lost to Wall, who we just saw in 9A. Gavin Sudbeck.
This is the second half. We're going to pick it up because
had a big night. All right, it's 20-0. KADOKA in the lead at halftime.
Yeah,
but it totally turns around.
We're going to skip right over that and get to Sean Roach Valandra, who carries the entire team on his back to get himself a touchdown. That is 20-12 now. Or excuse me, that's 20-6, first score of the game for Dell St. Mary. Then another touchdown, 20-12. They needed some other guys besides this guy, Connor Libas, to help him out, and that's what Roach did tonight. All of a sudden, Libas finds his way into the end zone. It's 20-14 KADOKA. Then Libas will finish off a drive once again. 20-20. We're tied up, Tom.
Yeah, that was the two-point conversion there. 22-20. St. Mary's takes the lead. Sudbeck scores again for KADOKA to put KADOKA back in the lead, 28-22. But Dell Rapids St. Mary's scores with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the game. And here is the final.
This is Gavin Sudbeck getting in the end zone.
Here's Sudbeck for the go-ahead for KADOKA, and then Dell scores after that, and St. Mary's wins on the road 30-28 to get to the 9B final.
What a comeback. Remember, they're down 20-0, got ahead, and then held on to the lead. Connor Libas with a huge night, but a lot of help from Sean Roach Valandra.
All right, Cardinals into the 9B championship, taking on either WOLSEY-Wessington or HERRED-SELBY. They're in the same region. Didn't play each other during the regular season, though. And here we go with Eric Klanchnik. 50-yard touchdown run as get the scoring going, and the Warbirds from WOLSEY-Wessington out to the lead early, Jandy.
Only a second full game back. He was hurt on the first play of the season, and now he is so happy to be back.
WOLSEY-Wessington's next possession, that is Tristan Abbott on the receiving end of his second quarter touchdown, so the Warbirds go up 2 scores. And then HERRED-SELBY starting to come back here in their first drive of the second half. 30-yard gain here by Trey Heddick. Or it leads to a Trey Heddick touchdown run. A couple of plays later, 4th and goal here for Heddick. So the Wolverines get on the board, cut that lead in half. And then you got to have a Brendan Begeman highlight. 59 yards on the option here. Just a sophomore, Begeman. And he will take it in to score here with 9 minutes left in the game. But WOLSEY-Wessington, the Road Warriors tonight. Ethan Nelson takes a little misdirection around the end here to score the go-ahead with 5 minutes left in the game. And WOLSEY-Wessington hanging on with a big road win tonight in the 9B semifinals, 20-14.
Tied late. WOLSEY-Wessington dug deep on the road. A tough, hard-fought win. HERRED-SELBY has been so good over the last year and a half, 2 years. But the Warbirds got it done, and we talked to the Warbirds after the win.
It was tough, but you just got to fight through it. Doctor told me I wouldn't be back for the season, but I couldn't say no. So.
Next steps.
Next steps, we're going to win a ring. So that's the next steps. Fight hard for next week.
I thought it was a great game. Those guys, number 20 for them is an animal. He's only a sophomore. He's a kid people aren't going to want to see in the future. I thought their coaches did a great job. They kind of shut down our offense a little bit. But our kids fought. They fought to the end. They tied it up. We got back, went to a big Tristan, got in a big play for us. It was just a great game. The kids fought to the end. I'm so proud of them.
All right, WOLSEY-Wessington, Dell Rapids St. Mary's. Did you have that one picked?
I
early
did.
In the year?
Well, kind of. Sure. Why not? I had it picked this week. That's all that matters, right, Tom?
You went 13-1 in tonight's games.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
All right. All right, Dell St. Mary's, WOLSEY-Wessington in the 9B championship. We'll run down the brackets again a little later on in the show. Up next, though, off to North Dakota for some big school highlights with Jody Norstead coming up next.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance, Avera Orthopedics, and South Dakota State University.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live. Let's get up to West Fargo, North Dakota, and Jody Norstedt. And what's going on up there, Jode? We had some games tonight, but big day in North Dakota on Saturday, correct?
Yeah, 6 of the 8 semifinals will come tomorrow across the state. But tonight, of course, we had the Final Four for the big schools. Our shot of a Dakota Bowl rematch from last year still intact. In fact, Bismarck Century and West Fargo Cheyenne still haven't lost since meeting in the Fargo Dome a year ago. Tonight, the defending champ Patriots playing a WDA rival in Mandan, while the Mustangs were hosting the bruising rushing attack of Bismarck. It's a game that could have featured the state's top 2 rushers, Brika Penu and Isaiah Hoos, but Hoos, the junior, now done for the year after having season-ending knee surgery. Still a good ground attack for the Demons, though. The home team marches right down the field, 80 yards on the opening drive. Brika Penu at the goal line, no problem. His 13th touchdown on the ground this year. Bismarck goes 3 and out on its first drive. Then it gets worse. A high snap. Logan Schauber can't corral. Mustangs recover, but Cheyenne can't capitalize. They turn it over on downs. Now it's the next punt for Bismarck. Talk about a reverse of fortune. The ball takes a demon bounce. Lance Oster tries to pick it up, and he fumbles. Demons recover and flip the field just like that. Bismarck gets to 4th down again, but they're going for it. Needing 10 yards, instead they'll get 19. Caden Fisher to Jack Steckler, threading the needle. The extra point makes it 7-6. Bismarck with 9:41 to go in the second leads it. Mustangs come right back. Grant Workentine to Gage Anderson over the middle, and watch the senior blaze a trail to the end zone. 42 yards. Great answer by the Mustangs. They get the 2-pointer and lead it 14-7. Bismarck gets in the red zone looking for the answer, facing another 4th down, but hey, why not? Fisher to Steckler again. We're knotted at 14 with 2 minutes left before half. Another 4th down score. Less than a minute later, Brika Penu hauls in the short pass, and just watch the Bison commit put on a show. Holy smokes. His legs look pretty fresh. He was playing both ways tonight, too. It's 20-14 Cheyenne going into the half. Under 4 to play in the third. Cheyenne trying to add to a 6-point lead. They hand off to Matt Tribe, but the Demons force a fumble and recover. Huge turnover. Lucas Miller got dinged up on the ensuing drive, so Demons have to get creative running the ball. They hand it off to Cade Cavisto on the jet sweep. He picks up the 1st down on 3rd and long. A couple plays later, Fisher scores on the sneak, and Bismarck takes a 21-20 lead after the extra point on a drive that took up to 9+ minutes. Cheyenne needs at least a field goal to take the lead here with about 5 minutes left, but they find themselves in a 4th and 5 at their own 25. No problem. Workentine to Penu for the 1st down. Mr. Reliable does it again later in the drive. Well, just get out of number 2's way. That is one determined Mustang running there. Penu scores his 3rd touchdown of the game, and Cheyenne leads it 28-21 with 1:46 left. So Demons still have a chance. Under 30 seconds to play now. Fisher trying to throw them into the red zone, but Kellen Entz comes up with his 4th interception of the season. This one the biggest. It clinches the Mustangs a trip to the Fargo Dome, where his dad Matt usually coaches the Bison on Saturdays. Cheyenne wins it 28-21. Brika Penu was outstanding running the football and catching it out of the backfield. He ends up with 155 yards and 3 scores. The Mustangs defense tightened up when it needed to, and the boys in blue will play for it all next Friday at the Dakota Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, this feeling is unreal, obviously. Going into this summer, you didn't really know what the season was going to be like, and to get all the way through here, we got healthy guys ready to play a big game, and we're just super ecstatic to get this win and go to the Dakota Bowl again.
I mean, this is great now, but we're focused on the next opponent. I think it's Century, I heard, so we want the revenge bad, so we're excited to get back, but job's not finished yet.
Well, there you go. Brika just gave it away. Defending state champ Century trying to get back to the Dakota Bowl, hosting Mandan in the semifinal round for a 2nd straight year. Mandan won the toss, and instead of deferring, they said, we want the ball. What do? With 95 yards on 19 plays. Jace Loman, Aaron Grubb for the score. Picture-perfect start for the Braves. A field goal and Noah Schaffner touchdown run makes it 10-7 Century. Pats get the ball back and score again. Schaffner using his arm this time to Brock Johnson. Patriots up 17-7 at the break. They get the ball to start the second half, and they bully their way for another score. Cade Garcia playing in his final game of the bowl. Of course he has to score. That makes it 24-7 Century. It looks like it's slipping away for the Braves, but not so fast. Lohman to Tyler Philmoni. How about some FaceTime? They connected for 3 touchdowns last week. Why not another one? This makes it a 10-point game. Final minute of the third. Schaffner throwing for more than he has for much of the season. Finds Jacob Renz. Now it's 31-14 going into the fourth. Patriots get the ball back again, and they were clicking on all cylinders. Schaffner to Johnson. The standout hurdler is going to show you why he's been offered by NDSU Track and Field. Whoop! Johnson's second touchdown of the night makes it 38-14. Still 10 minutes to go, though. Mandan needs points in a hurry, and Andrew Langang, the K-State commit, says, well, let's call it a night. He blows up Lohman for the sack. Camera guy doesn't know what's going on. Ball is loose. Jacob Burkhardt and Lucas Schweigert recover in the end zone for the touchdown. The beef up front getting rewarded. That's what I call that. Century is heading back to the Dakota Bowl to defend that title thanks to a 45-14 victory. It's now a 21-game win streak for Ron Wingenbach's team, and they feel they made a statement tonight.
That's a goal we always make before the season starts. I had an interview earlier this year. I said we want to go to the Dome, and look where we are now. We're back at the Dome. Now we got to win it.
It'll be a heck of a ball game. It's unusual that in the short amount of time that they've been a high school that we've developed quite a bit of a rivalry with them already. So they know us pretty well and we know them pretty well. So it'll be a big game.
The Pats and Mustangs again. Remember, it was a 10-0 Century victory in last year's state championship. Century now at the Dakota Bowl for a 7th time in 10 years. When we come back on Varsity Sports Live, we'll take a look at the matchups for tomorrow. 6 more semifinals on the line tomorrow in North Dakota high school football.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Avera Orthopedics, South Dakota State University, and Farmers Union Insurance.
Two Dakota Bowl rematches from last year, a 450-mile trip to play the #1 seed. Those are just a few of the storylines surrounding tomorrow's semifinal matchups. I caught up with radio personalities Brad Anderson and Chase Miller earlier this week to break down the North Dakota brackets and make some picks.
Let's move to the Class 2A side of things, where the opening round went chalk, guys. Hillsboro Central Valley, Beulah going to meet again in the rematch of last year's state championship. Then you have Kindred that's going to get to go out to St. Mary's. The Saints, of course, routed the Vikings last year, 42-0 in the playoffs. The Burros and Miners met in the regular season. It was a 23-14 Hillsboro Central Valley win. Brad, is it going to happen again? Are the Burros going to keep winning over this Beulah team?
I am not so sure. I was very impressed with Beulah. They had a turnover early on, but overcame that against Central Cass. And really kudos to their offensive line. Aaron Ripplinger at center, and Mondra and Smith and Clout and Boofink, that offensive line. They won the battle against Central Cass. They ran for 400 yards, and the old Beulah Miner package looks sharp. I mean, they've got, that offensive line won the battle, and a variety of running backs. I mean, they just, even at such a tight, unique format, they can run a lot of different sets out of that. Batest on the outside, they can use Skolsky, kind of get the yards between the tackles. And I know the first time around, turnovers were a really big factor. And Beulah, I think, has got to set the tone early. It's not an offense that is set to play from behind. At least, maybe one score they can. But I think the battle in the trenches will be up front. But Beulah looked really good last week.
Yeah, I think there were like 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns for Hillsboro Central Valley in that game earlier this season. So turnovers, like you said, gonna play a huge role. Chase, St. Mary's allowed 7 points last week. That's double their average. Any reason for concern for Dan Schmierker's team?
No, because that was a little bit later in the contest, and Bismarck St. Mary's had it pretty much well in hand. Colin Curl, by the way, 2 yards away from having 1,000 yards on the season for this senior, a guy that has 19 touchdowns rushing, almost 8 yards per average on the ground. And you know what? Kindred really had a dogfight against Hazen. That crosswind kind of took the passing attack of Ethan McKinney. Only had 1 reception in that football game. It was a back-and-forth contest, and Hazen kind of came out with more of a wing tee offense, a different style than what they saw the first time around. Kindred in this football game's got to at least keep keep it one possession. You get one-dimensional against a Coach Schmeeker team that only gives up 118 yards of total offense, you're going to be in for a long day. But if Heinrich can get running the football, if McQuillan can make smart passes, and if you can get McKinney involved enough early on and maybe get a turnover, make a special teams play, you never know what can happen once you get out to the second half.
Kindred, I mean, they have to play a nearly perfect game. That sets up my predictions for this Class 2A division. I think we're going to see St. Mary's and Beulah 0-3 all time against Hillsborough Central Valley. But I'm with Brad on this. I don't know if Brad's going to end up picking Beulah to make the upset, but if Scott Olson needs some bulletin board material, here it is. I think Beulah is going to pull off the upset against Hillsborough Central Valley, and I think it's going to be Beulah and St. Mary's in the championship. Chase, what do you got? Quickly.
I kind of want to go away from Beulah right now because I said the same thing. I looked at the 4 turnovers against Hillsborough Central Valley going, geez, that's a difference maker. And try to be a little bit different here, but I like what Coach Dooley's got going. I mean, the second time around asking Coach Olson, he goes, Dooley does such a good job of varying his offense the second time around where you think you got something, stop, and then here goes someone running by you for 30, 40 yards, down the football field. So I'm going to go St. Mary's and Beulah, and not to sound like the same old, but same old, I guess.
Brad?
The one thing I'm talking to Jim Dooley last week, and I was asking him, I said, is St. Mary's, how good is St. Mary's? And the one thing that was really striking that he told me was, he says, they're very good and we respect them. And he says, we're going to miss not playing them when we go to 11B next year. He says, but we're not afraid of them. He says, so I think he says, we've split the last about 10 times we've played them. And I think they're on a roll right now. I like Beulah and St. Mary's as well.
Great. Scott Olson's playing this in his locker room before the game. There's no doubt about it. Let's move to Class A. Langdon Edmore Munich advanced to the semifinal round by virtue of the Oaks forfeit due to COVID. Cardinals get a state championship rematch, another state championship rematch here in the semifinals. They get to play Bishop Bryan. The other semifinal, a doozy, third seeded Velva against second seeded Lisbon. We'll get to that one in a bit. Brad, for all the success that the Cardinals have had, I feel like it's almost boring to talk about because it's the same old thing. They're going to blow out teams every week. The Rumfo twins are going to do a whole bunch. They're going to put up great stats, great line play, well-coached team. Here they are trying to win their 36th game in a row. We should be savoring this, shouldn't we? What they're trying to do here against the Bishop Bryan team that's pretty darn good too.
Yeah, you kind of look at some of the powers in the past, and I think one that I thought of was Cavalier, probably in the mid-2000s, some of the athletes they had, and Brady Trenbeth and some of those guys, and kind of reaching that territory, I think, with Langdon. And, yeah, it kind of seems almost cliche and old hat for this team, but they are enjoyable to watch. And, kudos to Bishop Bryan to go out to win at Shiloh the way they did, and that's, the one thing I got to say in the last couple of years, they've won on the road a number of different times. I think it was Bowman County last year with a road win, and same thing with Shiloh. They're going to have to, like I said, they're going to have to get force some turnovers. They're going to have to kind of, some extenuating circumstances here to try and shut down Langdon. But they're certainly battle tested. I'll give them that.
Going to be an interesting one, but I think Langdon Edmore Munich is obviously the odds-on favorite. Chase, Lisbon Velva. This is a matchup that I think we all kind of circled when the brackets first came out, because we're going to get to see Jordan Sowers, Hunter Schultz for Lisbon, that great rushing attack against Velva led by Gage Florence, who ripped off 4 touchdowns last week. Who has the better ground game in this one? I'm going to give you the hard question, Chase.
Yeah, we've talked about battle of the trenches. It might not be ever so true in this football game, guys. I would say this, Velva, be wary of the first play from scrimmage for Lisbon. Back-to-back times in the postseason, boom. It's 60, 70 yards, and you look up and you're down 6-0 to a Coach Girding team that just likes to grind out type of football games. And earlier this season against Oaks, they had a drive that went 6.5 minutes, 80 yards down the field, and they capped it off. And both teams kind of want to do that. Both teams are going to want to run the football. So to your point, Jody, I go to who can stop the run first, who can get to 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11 with their defense, and force either Selzer to have to throw the football with consistency for Velva, or Hunter Schultz have to throw the football for Lisbon. We don't talk about Lisbon throwing the football because they never have to. They're up by 2-3 scores, and they just keep running Sowers left, Schultz right, up the middle, and here we go. So bring your boxing gloves, bring your welterweight, match, because this is going to be mano-a-mano in the trenches come Saturday in Lisbon.
And I know he's a different type of back. Nathaniel Gillick, more of a high-up running back. Jordan Sowers likes to get low, so it's a little bit different. But Velva just shut down Gillick last week, And now they get another big challenge in that Lisbon rushing attack with Schultz and Sowers. I'm really interested to hear the picks here. Brad, we'll lead it off with you.
Oh boy, well, I'm gonna go Langdon, Enmore, Munich, and I was talking to one of the Lisbon assistants, and I said, "What did you think? What do you think about Velvet?" He says, "It's like looking in the mirror for the type of thing." I mean, it's not going to be easy. I think Lisbon with the home field, I think it's a touchdown or less. I think it'll be really close, but I think Lisbon and Langdon in the final.
Yeah, I'm going with you. I think Langdon, Enmore, Munich, and Lisbon in a matchup that I think is pretty close. I'm going to go with the team that doesn't have to travel the way that Velva's going to have to travel kind of across the state to get to Lisbon. Chase, make it quick.
Yeah, Brad said battle tested for Bishop Ryan. Bishop Ryan's 2 losses to Trinity and Velva this year by a combined 6 points, so they are very well battle tested. But Langdon's a whole nother animal, so I'm going to go with Langdon, and I'm going to go different. Give me Jersey Seltzer and give me Gage Florence. Brad, I know you're former Lisbon High alum as well. I think same thing. 1 possession game. This might come down to who has the ball last, who makes one big defensive play. Just to be different, I'll go Velva. So there's bulletin board material for Coach Girding, Jody, in Lisbon.
Tonight, man, we go. Speaking of travel, like we were talking about Velva going to Lisbon, the Beach Bucks get to make the trip all the way to Cavalier. I think this is a 6-7 hour drive for Mike Zier's team. On the other half of the bracket, second-seeded Lemoore-Litchfield-Marion hosts the other Region 4 still left in Linton HMB. Brad, let's start with Cavalier. Mayport CG and its high-scoring offense, they just ran into a buzzsaw last week, and Cavalier's been able to get it done playing physical football. Are they going to be able to do that again against Beach this week?
I think so. And they scored 52, and they fumbled 3 times in 4 drives in the first half too. I mean, think about that. They're really clicking right now. And I mean, for Beach, one thing I will say for Beach, this is probably not going to phase them too much with wins on the road already. That region has proved to be Region 4 has proved to be very balanced. We saw that last year with Kidder County. They were not phased with getting through that, and then the way they finished. But I think Cavaliers on a mission too. I think falling short last year in the championship against Kidder County, I think they look like they're really focused to get back to the Dome.
In the other 9-man contest, Lemoore-Litchfield-Marion took down North Border 32-0. More Lobo domination. We've seen it all year, guys. It's been such an incredible team. And I know they played against Satcham at Mayport CG earlier this season, probably one of the top players that they faced, but I don't think they've played a dual threat like Linton HMB has, and Schumacher and Trey Jacob. Lobos are going to need to be ready here, Chase, for a 4-quarter game, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned Jacob, again, a bowling ball type of running back, low to the center, and then you got Brett Wendell, who just follows the mode graders up front against North Border. A good shot up, but Wendell, again, over another 100-yard performance. The least he's got this year is 90-some yards and 11 carries in 1 football game, so even those numbers are still pretty good. Wendell, 1,700 yards rushing on the season, 19 touchdowns. Potts is a well-balanced machine with Colton Ness. We talked about the super sophomore enough. And then I think this one has the ingredients, just as Lisbon and Velva does, to maybe be the game of the week when it comes to these two scoring off with Linton HMB and Lemoore-Litchfield-Marion for a chance to go to the Dakota Bowl. Lemoore hasn't been there since 2003, and that was in Class A. It's been a while for Linton as well, so one of those 2 teams will take that streak at least this side if they can get the W on Saturday afternoon.
All right, final games to pick here. Who will be playing in the 9-man championship next week? Brad?
I'm kind of looking forward to LLM and Cavalier and see if that would be, I think that would be a showdown matchup, and I think it's going to go both ways. I'll take both home teams.
Yeah. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll go Cavalier, and, there's something about this Linton Lion team that I'm like, I don't want to pick against them for some reason because in the polls the entire year you've been like, oh, they've been right there. But I think Coach Delabar's got this team well schooled. I think they got enough speed again in all 3 levels as we talked about. I think Lemoore-Litchfield-Marion gets it done ever so close at home on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Beach's miracle run, it's been fun to follow for sure, but I don't see it going any farther. I think Cavalier's just too good at too many different positions. And a team that is battle-tested. They were in the Dakota Bowl last year. I think they get back. And then I think, like you guys mentioned, Lemoore-Litchfield-Marion, another team that's just so loaded. But I think about Linton HMB. They took Cavalier to double overtime last year in the semifinals. So could they possibly do it? I don't know. It's going to be tough. I think Lemoore-Litchfield-Marion finds a way to pull it off, maybe a 1-score game, and they get to the Fargo Dome.
Really looking forward to seeing who earns those coveted tickets to Dakota Bowl 28. Well, when we come back on Varsity Sports Live, we got the rundown coming your way next.
Welcome back. One more look at the rundown tonight. West Fargo, Sheyenne over Bismarck. And Sheyenne heading to the 3A championship to take on Bismarck Century Big over Mandan on Friday night, 45-21.
No surprise there. There were a few surprises, however, in South Dakota.
Top seed Roosevelt goes down. Jacob Knuth, couple of touchdown tosses to Ethan Rollinger. Harrisburg moving in to the 3A championship. They will take on Brandon Valley. The Lynx, Tate Johnson, 5 touchdown carries tonight. Colbeck, a couple of tosses, and they roll 55-28. Bobcats unbeaten on the season. Josh Burrai running over the Huron Tigers. Brookings into the 11 AA championship at 11-0. T Area moving into the 11A championship, running over Madison in the semis, 37-14. They will take on Canton, the defending champions. Another close win over West Central, 14-6. They get a goal line stand to win that one. Winner into the 11B title game. They beat Sioux Valley in winter on Friday night, 28-14, and they will take on Bridgewater-Emery-Ethan, the big dogs on the block in 11B, 46-0 over Mobridge-Pollock.
There he goes.
Kaiser.
Burnham.
Platte-Geddes comes from behind. They score a late touchdown with just over a minute to go, and the Black Panthers into the championship game. Hamlin takes out Lemmon-McIntosh 28-6, and the Chargers moving into the championship game in 9-man in AA in South Dakota. Canistota-Freeman gets by Howard. Another great matchup between these two and the defending champs back in the Dakota Dome. Warner shuts out Wall 26-0 in the semis. The Eagles the Monarchs get to 10-0, and they are into the 9A championship. Dell Rapids St. Mary comes back to beat KADOKA after being down a couple of scores early.
Oh, what a catch.
And the Cards into the 9B championship with a win over KADOKA. WOLSEY-Wessington scores late as well to get by the Wolverines, Jason, 20-14 in 9B. And we will see you next Friday night on Varsity Sports Live as we get into the championships. Lots of North Dakota semis tomorrow, and we'll be back with another show next Friday night.
Let's do it.